All right, this is Glendon with day 15 of Hustler University. There's a few little changes, but we will jump right into it. I got this question, and it was a good question. Incidentally, it was already part of the Hustler mindset, so I decided to do this session on Thursday a little different. Let's start with the egg, because you have the chicken and the egg, and I believe the egg came first, even though some people would disagree with me because it's a perplexing question. But we're going to talk about daily source goal. The more stuff you have, the more stuff you can, the more money you can make. That's pretty simple, but people are a little confused on the process. So let's hammer on the most important aspect of the resale business: product procurement. You make your money when you gain the item, not when you sell it, because the price that you gain the item will never, ever change. But the price that you will sell the item could vary different, vastly. You may get something that, like, say, you got some Michael Jackson t-shirts for $5, and then the next week Michael died, and those same t-shirts are now selling for $500. It could happen. It could happen. But how you source has a proportional effect on your sales. It is directly related and linked. But let's really break it down. What I want you to do, and what I think is really stable, if you think of a tripod, it stands on three legs. So, at a minimum, I want you to develop three product procurement channels. It can be Craigslist. It can be picking it. You need minimum of three. And the reason is there's what I call dry spells. Say you have a place you go and it's good for months. Then one day you just can't find anything. And then for a week you can't find anything. And you will panic, because that happened to me the first tax season when I was in the storage auction business, because it's like we were getting our heads on the shoulder, we were doing what we needed to do, we were making money, and then it was like couldn't get anything. The stuff that was available, the prices were dismal. I mean, it's like I was looking at people. It's like, are you insane? And I didn't know. I didn't know because of the two things that happened. People got their income tax, paid up their bills. People got their income tax and came out to the auction. So you had a shrinking inventory with a growing demand, and economic laws kicked in. High demand, low availability, higher price. Multi-channel sourcing, you have to look at your sourcing methodology. What I see on YouTube is people do like the thrift store. That's kind of like the weekday source, or maybe a private pick, or storage auctions, and then garage sales being the holy grail, because you can easily find someone that has something valuable and they're just giving it away. That's what people like. But mark my words, in a few years it's going to change radically. We're in a state where people are hurting for money, and it's crazy. And you're going to see some big changes with thrift stores and garage sales. But to stay on point, you need to have as many channels as possible, but three at a minimum. Another thing that you should do, and carve this on your cortex: prospect for product 5 to 7 days a week. Unless you can get a storage unit with hundreds to thousands of items, that's going to hold you for a while because you have to process it. That makes it a little different. But you have to get in the habit of always being on the hunt. This will activate your brain to spot opportunities that you normally would miss, because what happens is, if you become a garage sale bunny, you're just kind of blind until garage sales. It's like, okay, you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and you go out there on the trail and you hit up as many garage sales before 12, because between 7 and 12, 7 and 1, after that they really start petering out. People start shutting down early, so you got to get up early. But I didn't like that. Because understand, I did do picking for a year. Went to a lot of garage sales and got great deals. But it's very limiting because you have a very narrow window. In some places you have Thursday garage sales, some places you have Friday, but mother load is usually Saturday. It's doable, but the limitation irked me. If you do garage sales, you also must be going somewhere else the other 4 days of the week hard. 2 to 3 hours on Craigslist or eBay or Etsy. You have to spend some time looking for stuff that you can get and flip. And it has to be a preoccupation. It has to be almost an obsession because once you get this thing going, you'll have money coming into your life every day. That's the goal. I want you to think if you had $50 a day, profit, let's just say profit, not say gross sales, but $50 a day coming in 7 days a week. And we say 7 days a week because we're online sellers as well as offline sellers. Online never sleeps. So you have the potential to make sales every day of the week. $50 a day, that's $1,800 a month profit. That's $20,000 a year. That's $50 a day. Do you understand what I'm saying? $50 a day. Hold on, wait a minute. My math's off. I'm sorry. Because I didn't write it down. I was just going. Because $50 a day times 30 is $1,500. Sorry about that. But that's $15,000. That's $18,000 a year. $2,000 off. But that's $50 a day. 50 profit a day. I keep saying it that way because that's not a lot of money. So that's kind of like when you get this thing going, and then if you can do 50, then you can do 60. And if you can do 60, you can do 70. Then you get up to $100 a day profit, not gross sales, profit. That's $3,000 a month most months. $2,800 on the short month to $3,100 on the long month. That's $36,000 per year. That's $100 a day. So you see how this thing works? Because many people want to set their business up almost like their job is set up. You go in Monday through Friday. During these hours, you get paid whether you're productive or not. That's not how this works. You must be productive. You must be on point, and you must push it. And another thing, you always want to have more stuff on hand than you need. You want to learn how to handle organized chaos. Now, your sourcing goal is going to be based, and this comes back to the space issue. This is one of the biggest things, if I can impress on you. If your house is full and you need to get a storage unit, get one. But don't just get one with a plan. Get the biggest one they can, go on the dollar special or the $20 special, which gives you 30 days to really get it crunked before the real storage bill hits you. And that's where you're going to put your big stuff. You're going to start segmenting. Like, here's a blueprint of someone I helped out. They have a house. They have a 2-car garage. Dude was getting all kind of hate from the wife because she hated parking outside. They live up in the north. It's snow, and she's like, we have a garage. Why am I parking outside? And he made a deal with her. They had a room. He said, can I use this room for my online stuff? And I'll get everything out the garage. So he took it to a storage unit. And we worked out a plan over a few weeks where, one side of his room was Amazon. Another side of his room was eBay. This guy had a job. So he wasn't, it's based upon your time. You can't do everything that everyone else does. So we had him source high-end items. And when I say high-end items, $50 to $500. That's the type of stuff he was selling. And I was like, you can start with one. You can start with that too. You can start with one. And he got up to an inventory of about $10,000 worth of stuff, and he was moving $2,000 per month part-time with his job. And that's the thing. It's just about having the source, because I'm not trying to look down upon anyone that's buying a Yahtzee or a Barbie doll, because those things make money. But in the grand scheme of things, you have to just say, what is worth your time? And you won't get from Barbie to $100 porcelain bowl or whatever overnight. It's a process. But as you replace your cheaper inventory with higher price point inventories, and I'll show you how this works. It's all about the numbers. It is all about the numbers. If you have 1,000 things that are $500 and you have this setup where the storage of that stuff is not breaking you, say it's not cost, say you can store it in your house, 1,000 items that are $500, and you're getting them at a good price, and you sell 20%. That's a lot of money. It's just about the numbers. Now, to give you a way to grow into that, if you want to make $100 per day, you need to source $300 to $500 worth of product per day. And then you're like, what? Because you're not going to sell everything that you get. See, that's the thing that messes up people. They buy stuff and it's like, okay, I want to sell it now, and I'm not going to buy something else until this sells. You are missing out on opportunity because your sales cycles comes in different waves. I'll give you an example. When we had the storage auction business, on Saturdays, I've seen this happen time and time again. We would go 2, 3, 4 Saturdays, not sell a washer and dryer. Then bam, that 4th Saturday, we would sell 6 sets. And it was just like, and that's one of the reasons that when I saw units with washer and dryers, even if we had 2, 3, 4, or 5, I would buy more because I knew it would come. It would be that run. It's just like the cosmos. Like, okay, I'm gonna press the buttons of everybody that needs a washer and dryer, and they're gonna come to you, and then you get wiped out. So just because you don't sell it as soon as you get it in place, you may have some items for a few months. You may have some items. It's just really depends on if it's hurting you to hold on to it. If it's not hurting you cost-wise to hold on to it, don't lose your mind over something that's really expensive that takes a little time to sell. That's why you keep prospecting and getting stuff, because you got some things that, hey, it takes a little longer, but you got this other stuff that's coming in and it's going out. It's coming in and it's going out, and you're making money and you're making profit. Now, the numbers, and this is the thing I talk about. If you don't track your sell-through rate, it's going to be hard for you to know where you are. So, what is your baseline right now? If you don't know your baseline, you've got to do this exercise. Take a month to generate your numbers. You've got this, like, every week, you got to divide what you have on hand, and you got to divide what you sell it, and that's going to be your sell-through rate. Keep it simple. You have 100 items. You sell 20 in a week. Your sell-through rate's 20%. You sell 30, it's 33%. It's 30%. So that's your sell-through rate. And and you divide it by 4 weeks. And like 1 week is 20, 1 week's 30, 1 week's 40, 1 week's 10. And it's going to come out to like 28, 29%. That's your sell-through rate. Once you get those numbers, that's powerful information because you can tweak it. It's like, okay, I'm at roughly 29%. So if you double your inventory and you double what you listed, you're still going to be at that 29%, but your income doubles. And that's how important it is to know where you are with your numbers, how your business is doing, what's going on with that stuff, because it's not rocket science. It's paying attention to the little things. I learned this lesson when I worked for a company by the name of Panel Systems Incorporated. This was a really rough period of time when I worked there. And this guy came in and he really sat in the office and all he did was look at numbers. And he ran scenarios. And I would just sit there and watch him because I was inside sales and I'd talk to him. And he'd run numbers and he'd run numbers and he'd run numbers. And the company had to lay people off, but they were doing, before things went bad, about $150,000 a month in sales. Well, he was able to keep the same profit margin with $75,000 a month in sales because they laid off people, did some stuff, but the profit margin was exactly the same because he knew how to massage the numbers. You can do this similar thing in your business. You can. It's just you got to know what the numbers are. You got to keep those Excel spreadsheets. You got to know how much your stuff costs, how long do you hold on to it, and how fast do you sell it, and what is your sell-through rate and your profit margin. There's 5 things that you have to know. Like, I see people with all kind of fancy numbers and vectors and charts. But for your business, those numbers are the most important. And you really, really need to be on it. Now, for the sake of this Hustler Mindset, Hustler University course, if you don't know your numbers, set an arbitrary number, and I'm going to give you one, $50 a day profit. Now, $50 gross sale, $50 a day profit. That's your goal. It's $1,500 a month profit. That's what you're shooting for. You can tweak it up if you want to, but don't tweak it down. Don't tweak it down. You can tweak it up, but don't come down. Now, let's discuss something that happened with one of my clients. Been with me for 2 years. Is not in the Hustler Mindset Project because this person has learned so much that they don't need it. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but they don't. They bought all my books and bought, I know it's going to sound crazy, probably 30 one-on-one consulting sessions. So it's kind of crazy, the stuff that this guy's doing now. But we sat down and, he said he wanted to make $100,000 a year. And I said, okay, that was his goal. He said, I want to make $100,000 a year in the resale business. And when you look at the numbers, I said, okay, then you need gross sales of 185 to 200K. And he's like, because with the resale business, you can get stuff at a great price. So this is pretty much what you see before you is his matrix. And I say, okay, so you need $507 in sales per day. He's doing eBay, he's doing Amazon, he's doing Craigslist, and he's doing Etsy, and there's some other stuff that he's doing. So between Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, and Etsy, he's hitting his numbers. Now, let's talk about the 507. There are going to be days that you are going to kick 507 in the ass. When I say that, you're going to have a $1,500 day. There are going to be days that you're going to do only $200 a day. But at the end of the month, if it averages out to 507 or above, you're where you want to be. Because don't get caught up in it's like, okay, the day I did 480. Don't lose your mind. Or the day I did 250. Look at it at the end of the month. Now, at the end of the month, you're coming in like really low. You need to do something different with your business. But if you're coming in, it's like 485 consistently, that's your average, or like maybe 550, or you're good to go. So also, once again with the numbers, kept his expenses at $200 per day. Expenses are shipping. Expenses are PayPal fees, eBay fees. All that comes under expense. Gas, that's what he was shooting for, to keep the expenses at $200 per day, which is $1,400 a week. Yeah, that's $1,400 a week. That's what his expenses was, and that's what he was, spending, buying product. All that came under $200, which is $73,000 a year. So you see how this is working? By having these parameters and these goals, it makes this thing a lot easier than saying something like, I just want to make as much money as possible. That is going to get you something, but it's probably not going to get you what you want. So you have to define it. For some people, this 185 is like, whoa, that's a lot of money. For other people, it's like, nah, we need to double that, Glendon. And it's up to you to figure out what you can do and what makes you happy. But I'm going to say this, that everybody that's listening to me right now can do this because of the things that are available. You can definitely do this. So that's just something for you to marinate on. And it's just a template. Like you can say, cut it in half. So that keeps you at like, 97.5. And then that would be $250 per day in sales. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of ways to work this. But this is just a basic template to help you grow your business, because a lot of people are in business and they never ever look at their numbers. They just make money and they just kind of sort of know where they are, but they never look at their numbers. Ever. Don't want you to be that person. Now, this is your task. Get this stuff set if you're in the resale business. Look over your numbers for the last 3 months. Set your baseline. Then once that is set, then you want to double your current rate. Set that goal times 2. Push yourself. You will thank me later. You will love me long time. All right, well, that wraps up this session, day 15 of Hustler University, hustler you. And there you have it. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you on the good side.